So this is my disassembled stick. All the buttons are on the wrong side because I had to open the plexi, and this is them being just attached in a way that makes me not forget what's connected to what, because it's not labeled super well. This is a crusty ball of solder. This is a sleek new Wave of the Future. My LS32 died on me and I needed a new one. This is the new model. It's going to be much easier to install than the old one was. Took me like 2 weeks to get it though, because Arcade Shock was off for a TGS. Whatever. If you'll notice, there's extra drill holes here. I had to drill in extra holes because the mounting plate, I've decided to switch to a flat plate. Originally I was using an S plate. And it's not going to be quite positioned the way it was before, but I already measured the tolerance, and it's not going to cause a problem. It's not going to contact the plexi. So here we go. Properly detached the original LS32. If you'll note, this is a really old model that didn't have a 5-pin connector, but yeah, there's just a tangled mess of solder. I could actually do that with this because it actually does have the same connections. It's just they've got this plate around here that connects it there. I'm really not feeling actually working on soldering stuff though. It would make this look really unclean, and I'm hoping to get it to look a little more sleek. Not that you could tell from this mess. Anyway, I'm probably gonna have to undo this the plate and reorient it, because this is meant to be attached in a way like this, but as you can sort of see, the clearance to this hole is not very big, and these are really deep holes. So because of that, I'm actually using screw buttons instead of push buttons. Instead of push-in buttons. So that would cause contact there, and it would be very difficult to do anything with these buttons if I needed to replace them, so I can't have that. I'll have to reorient it. Easy. Alright, so the next thing is to figure out which part is which, but I'm pressing up right now, and you can see it depressing this one. Wow, that's a lot of cord, and it'll be really inelegant. Like, I can fit it in there, but why? I'll have to get a wire cutter. This is so much nicer. So these terminals go ground, up, down, left, right. While these terminals go ground, right, left, up, down. So, gonna need to reorient those a bit. The prep board, like many PCBs you can buy for a fight stick, has a simple system of placing wires into these slots and then screwing them down to clamp them. So you can easily replace stuff if you don't wire stuff right on the first try, like I didn't. So let me just plug this in. That USB cable is upside down. Up, down, left, right. Okay, ready to install. Of course, the smart thing to do probably would have been to screw this in, then wire it, but whatever. Here you can see that the tolerance on this is not quite perfect. However, it's fine. I measured it before. Essentially, the process for getting these bolts in will be to clamp the nuts with a set of needle nose pliers and just drill these in. To say to use a drill with a screwdriver bit and not to actually drill them. For recording, I happened to find a very large friend. Hey friend! Everyone in this household is very pro spider. Ran into a problem I don't have the tools to solve. See this bolt? Goes in here, out the other side. Right there, directly under where I have the cable positioned. Reorienting this so that it doesn't interfere with the buttons has meant that the placement of these does interfere with the 5-pin connector. So, I will have to get another bolt, which is the same diameter, but smaller. An hour of biking later, and I have it. No problems whatsoever. it's in, and I can put on the art in the plexi. And it's back! This isn't quite centered here, but even when going into that full corner, it doesn't touch the side of the plexi. Although it does touch the paper. That doesn't matter. These buttons are actually not stock parts. Obviously there are Seimitsu clear tops, but with the screw insert. But I've actually gone in and put in silencer pads into all of these. Although because the Seimitsu buttons have a lower actuation point than Sama buttons, which the pads are made for, that actually made it so that these often wouldn't actually function if you press them down unless you really mashed it in there, which I didn't want. But I was able to fix that by putting a little bit of tissue onto the tips of where the top of the push button meets the top of the actuator. So simply pressing it down will register it a bit earlier than it otherwise would, just because of the buffer. And they're not loud, at least not compared to stock buttons. There we go, good as new. Surgery complete. Now let this be a lesson to you. Never bring Million Nights for Million to an event and try and get people to play it. Your stick will break as penance.